CT scan is more sensitive and specific. So it shows you the abnormality and often specifically points out the abnormality. So can you see a lot of free air here, a pneumothorax in this case. If there are no lung markings, then it's a pneumothorax. Lung always has the blood vessels. So if you see an air collection without any lung markings, it's not the lung. It's outside, and if it is on one side, it's likely to be a pneumothorax. You can see this is the lung, and can everyone see the blood vessels? There are blood vessels everywhere. Even right at the periphery, you can see the blood vessels. Can anyone show a single blood vessel in it? So this is not the lung. You can't have such a big area of the lung and not have a single blood vessel. So this is outside. This lung is consolidated or solid, and this is the air which is outside, and it has no blood vessels. So lack of blood vessels, and we'll cover pneumothorax a bit more. This is just the introductory slide. We have more on pneumothorax. So fractures and dislocations, spine, ribs, clavicle, sternum, and shoulder. This is the skeleton of thorax. These are the different skeletal structures which make up the thorax. So can you see spine injury? Is there anything out of alignment? Yes. So this vertebra is malaligned with this. So the findings can be quite subtle. So you have to look very carefully. So this is out of alignment, and this has shifted to the right. So rib fractures, can you see the fractures of the ribs? A lot of overlap. Clavicle, everyone, it's quite obvious. The mid shaft is the most common site. So mid of clavicle is the most common site to fracture, and this is a common fracture. Scapula is quite deep, and we don't see it adequately on an X-ray, so you would require a CT scan. So which scapula is fractured, the left or the right? Yes. So you can see there are many fragments. If there are more than 2 fragments, if a bone breaks into 2, it's a simple fracture. But if there are more than 2 fragments, it's a comminuted fracture. Have you heard of comminuted? Okay, some have and some maybe haven't. But if there's a break like this, 2 pieces, a bone breaks into 2, it's a simple fracture. If there are more than 2 fragments like this, can you see there are multiple fragments? So if it is at more than 2 fragments, more than one site, so if it breaks at 2 places, it is then a comminuted fracture. Sternum fracture, so can you see this fracture here? So fractures, they are quite simple. When the fragments are displaced, it's the undisplaced ones which are difficult to see and diagnose, but this even the patient and the attendants, they can even see it. So fractures are usually quite simple, yes. So air where it shouldn't be. Air should be in the trachea, in the bronchi, and in the lungs, in the alveoli only. So when it is between the 2 layers of pleura, it's a pneumothorax. When there is air in the mediastinum, it is called pneumomediastinum. Where is air normally in the mediastinum? In which structure? Trachea has it, and sometimes esophagus has some air. So if it is outside, not in trachea, not in esophagus, then it's called pneumomediastinum. Subcutaneous emphysema is presence of air in the soft tissues. Venous air is presence of air in the veins. So those of you who have started a drip or intravenous, don't you always take the bubbles out? So that is you don't want to make the patient get some venous air. So you are avoiding venous air embolism while setting up a drip or giving an intravenous injection. So intramuscular, it's not as important as it is in intravenous. Pneumopericardium is presence of air in the 2 layers of the pericardium. Pneumoperitoneum is presence of air in the pneumoperitoneum, and pneumoretroperitoneum is in the retroperitoneum. Pneumothorax, much more sensitive. CT is more sensitive than the plain X-ray. Even a small pneumothorax will be visible on a CT scan. And a small pneumothorax can become bigger and convert into a life-threatening tension pneumothorax. So we need more examples for this. Erect view is best so that the air goes higher up. If the person is supine, it's difficult. So you want an erect view. Visceral pleural line is visible. I need to show you the image. No vessels or markings. So I've already emphasized this point. There are no vessels or markings in a pneumothorax. A variable degree of lung collapse. There is no shift if it is a simple pneumothorax. But if it is a tension pneumothorax, the heart will shift. There will be a shift. If you see a shift of heart or mediastinum, then it's a tension pneumothorax. But without a shift, it's a simple pneumothorax. So tension 1, there is shift of mediastinum, which could be heart, which could be trachea, away from the side of the pneumothorax. The diaphragm is depressed. It is normally convexed superiorly, so it becomes straightened. Lung collapse degree is variable. So where is the pneumothorax? Isn't all this pneumothorax? Is there a shift of heart? So it's tension then. If it is big enough and there's a shift of heart, then it's tension. There's more on pneumothorax, so don't worry if you still haven't understood. Pneumomediastinum, so if you see streaks of air other than the trachea, usually along the heart border or in the mediastinum, if you see some air, it's pneumomediastinum. So it's air where it shouldn't be, and air in the mediastinum should only be in the trachea and not elsewhere. So if you see any air other than in the trachea, it's pneumomediastinum. And a CT scan will show you much better. So can you see all this air? Air should only be in the trachea. So all the rest, air other than the trachea is pneumomediastinum, all of it. It could be a little bit, it could be a bigger one. So wherever air finds its place, some space, it is accumulates in the mediastinum. Subcutaneous emphysema, can you see this is over the chest muscles? All this. This is the best, but you can see there are other streaks. Can you see they are along the muscle planes? So inside as well as outside. So it can't be pneumothorax. Pneumothorax doesn't extend out of the chest. But subcutaneous emphysema can extend over the chest, but it's not within the lung, it's within the subcutaneous tissues between the muscle planes. So this is subcutaneous emphysema. In trauma, when there's some breach in the skin, then air gets accumulated. When a chest tube is inserted, we very often get some subcutaneous emphysema or some subcutaneous air. So while introducing a chest tube or in a trauma setting, and if there's no trauma and no procedure such as chest tube, then it could be infection with gas producing bacteria. So then it would be infection. But presently in trauma settings, it either is trauma or it is a chest tube placement. So if there's a tension pneumothorax and a chest tube is placed, then the subcutaneous emphysema would be due to chest tube placement, if it wasn't there initially. So if you don't see it prior to the chest tube, then it is due to the chest tube. Pneumopericardium, can you see the heart is outlined by air? So air can't go inside. It can go inside, but that would be fatal if you get so much air in the heart. But a pneumopericardium is less serious thing, but it's accumulation of air outside. So you get air all around the heart, and it doesn't go superiorly. It is confined to the pericardium, and pericardium doesn't go higher up. So that's how you differentiate pneumopericardium from pneumomediastinum. Hemothorax is presence of blood, and it could be venous blood, it could be arterial blood. And 60% are controlled by chest tube. 40% when they are not controlled, they require some surgery. And this can also be under tension. So hemothorax, can everyone see blood? This is blood. That's the lung, but this is the blood. So the difference between pneumothorax is that is air and this is blood. You need to know these terms. Contusions are blood in intact lung parenchyma. Laceration is blood in torn lung parenchyma. So what would a penetrating injury cause? Yes. And what would a blunt? Yes. So blunt will result in contusion. Penetrating or with a knife or a sharp object will be a laceration. Blood is in the torn lung. Lung is not normal. But in contusion, the lung is intact, but there is blood accumulated. So contusion versus laceration. On an X-ray chest, you can't tell the difference, but for the clinician or for those examining the person, it will be obvious. A knife mark, penetrating would be quite obvious. Contusions peak in 2 to 3 days, begin to resolve in a week. Lacerations, because of the tear, it takes longer. And that is contusions. But if someone says, can it be lacerations? Answer is yes, it could. Gunshot wounds of the chest, very frequent in Karachi. So if you are in the ER, almost daily you get cases. Pulmonary lacerations, contusions, hemothorax, pneumothorax, mediastinal and cardiac injuries, pneumomediastinum and fractures. So gunshot can do all of this, almost everything. And in gunshot injury, if the bullet hasn't gone through the body, some bullet injuries are the bullet passes through and through. So there's an entry and an exit wound. But if it doesn't exit from the body, you can actually see the bullet. So that's a bullet. This is likely to be a pneumothorax, but in a supine person, it's difficult to see the pneumothorax, but definitely you can see the blood here. And that's the bullet. So in the presence of bullet, you know the cause, even without history. You also need to examine the person. So if the entry is somewhere on the right side, and this is where it lodged, so it's likely that left is not affected, but only CT scan can exclude this possibility. But this is definitely affected, there is blood on the right side. So we are sure about the right. On the left, we can assume that it is not, but we can't be sure without a CT scan. In this case, the bullet has many fragments, or also called shrapnels. Can you see? And this is likely to be a contusion. But will you agree the right side is also affected now? So probably the bullet entered from there and it got lodged here. So both the lungs are affected. So if the lung parenchyma is affected, it will show up. Although we have all the metallic densities on the left, but the right is clearly involved. So we can assume that it entered from the right, caused a contusion here and lodged on the left, and caused another contusion on the left as well. Shrapnels, there was a person, Henry Shrapnel, who gave the idea, and our suicide bombers have happily adopted the idea. He gave the idea, if you do an explosion and put a large number of metallic pieces, then you cause more damage. So they use ball bearings and a large number of things. So shrapnels are metallic fragments, and they are named after the person Henry Shrapnel. So the metallic, this could be a bigger one, but these small dot-like, these are called shrapnels.